You are watching the Tuesday night edition of Chicago Corner. Woo!
Hello, hi, welcome to Taco Tuesday. Who wants a taco? Yeah, I know. Taco. Go crazy. All right, everyone, act normal. Perfect. Now, everybody say Taco Tuesday.
Oh my God! It's Taco Tuesday.
Did you order thousands of new jobs and a pepperoni?
Here's the problem I have. The first problem I have, Jerry. Pepperoni? Are you freaking kidding me? Chicago, Jerry, is an Italian sausage town.
You better believe it.
That's
what she said.
Damn it, and there are ants in my whiskey.
They add flavor, Kira. Is that
man,
like the worm in tequila?
Have you seen my whiskey ants anywhere?
That's okay. That's okay. The show will go on, everybody.
Hello and welcome to Taco Tuesday. And oh wait, who am I again? Oh yeah, Ed Heller, and here on Chicago Corner. And I think I found some of the wings, or at least I got a lead. So I just thought I should let you all know that I'm still on the case. We're gonna find them. Where are the wings? Everybody wants to know. And joining me tonight is my reverent or irreverent, I forget which one it is, co-host Jerry Vasilatos.
You should say you should announce me as your partner in crime.
Oh yes, my partner in crime, except not wing crime.
I knew it was you. Ed, I knew it was you. You broke my heart.
What do you mean there's 10,000 cases left?
Are we going to change it to Chicken Wing Tuesday?
I don't know. I'll have to change the graphics for that, Jerry. That could be expensive.
Wow, and not enough time since the show's already started.
Yes. So welcome everyone in the live chat. I see Kathy Powers and Miguel H. And Uncle Warren is here.
Yes.
And
Kathy, I made a comment before the show because Kathy was logged in before we started, and I said, "Of course, Kathy's here. We're her Tuesday and Friday entertainment. We are Kathy's dancing monkeys, her dancing Chicago monkeys."
Yeah. So if you tuned in late, we just have a breaking update here.
This might be something that Warren wants to cover on his new show. Looking for, I'm forgetting the name.
It was Wingus Ultra. No, wait,
yes,
Mundus Ultra.
Mundus Ultra, yeah, it's Latin. Yeah, I mean, it's a mystery that needs solving, and perhaps the two of you can team up and solve that mystery.
Yeah, I'd be happy to go on that show and talk to you about the missing wings, Warren. I mean, it could be. We'll have to call that section Wingus Ultra.
By the way, I didn't get a chance to see it live, Warren, but I did watch it after you went live, and I was very impressed. It's going to be a good show. ongoing as you get it broadcasting regular. So
yeah, I look forward to the first official episode. That's going to be good.
Yep.
So here we are. That was our chicken wing gate update. Where are the wings? We still don't know. But as soon as we find out, we will let you know right here on Chicago Corner. And we know it's the most important story possibly of the century.
this is going to be Ed's white whale.
Yeah.
As other online social media personalities are pursuing other white whales.
Yeah, or white whale wings. Okay, that's enough of that ridiculousness. Let's get into some other ridiculousness, and that is, and I should have made an opening for the mayoral clown car update, but you know how it is. So the update, and that is, there's too many clowns still remaining in the car.
With three of the worst candidates being endorsed all across town. Mm-hmm. And I have some thoughts on that, but I'll let you continue before I share them.
So some of you may be aware that it's mayoral forum season, mayoral debate season right now. So of course they're doing another one over on WTTW that started about a half hour ago. I'm probably going to watch that after I'm done doing the live stream because I tuned in just for a couple minutes and they were just yelling at each other back and forth. So
that sounds fun.
It's gonna be pretty good, good viewing, I think. But here we go. Okay, latest update we have, and I should have had this on the screen a couple minutes ago, but let's do it now. We got J-Mall wanting to fire ComEd.
Love it. This is why I love this man. And I started sharing this tweet and also his comment or his post on Facebook with just one simple comment: vote for this man.
Okay, and I got video too because he had an announcement earlier today, and on his Facebook feed, it sounded like they didn't have the microphones mic'd up very well. I mean, some of the other TV channels had their mics, but so he went and recorded another announcement on social media, and we'll play that for you right now.
Today, I announced that when I'm mayor in a few months, we are going to fire ComEd and municipalize our electric system right here in the city of Chicago.
Now, that's awesome right there.
Did he say – he didn't say anything about People's Gas also, though, did he?
No, but I guess, let's start with we should take over People's Gas, or at least, we should push the governor into doing that.
Do you know what my bill was? Do you know what my bill was last month?
I have my own. They're ridiculously high.
What's yours?
Well, this month wasn't as bad as last month, but it was like over $150.
Yeah, my bill that I just paid February 3rd, $320 for gas.
Yikes! Is that for both floors of your unit or no? That's just your single unit. Wow. I
don't understand it. I mean, I know I've had the heat on because we had an extraordinarily cold January. But I had it at 72 and I've got the thermostat set. It's timed. It goes on and off, although the apartment is usually quite toasty. And I just today, as the snow's been melting, I just went and turned the thermostat off. Don't need it anymore. I'm not going to pay these motherfuckers at People's Gas another goddamn cent that I have to after getting that bill. I'm just like, it's rape, man.
Yeah,
we have horrendous Chicago winters and we need heat. And
I mean, has it always been? It hasn't always been that electric may actually be cheaper now.
No, it always alternates. It's like winter, my People's Gas is through the fucking roof. Summer comes, ComEd goes to $200 a month because I've got the air on. I don't always have the air on, but yeah, I mean, both utilities, monopolies, and just absolute rapists. And look. I have money. I mean, I'm working a little bit that I can afford to pay my bills. Although I'm just like, yeah, it's winter. I just have to buck up and take care of it. Summer comes, it's not as bad as the gas bill. But I know there are people across the city that are struggling. And if they're getting similar bills, it's to stay warm. Just the simple
It-
comfort of staying warm and not freezing your ass off and dealing with, your joints in cold weather not working for you properly. It's hopefully ComEd is a step in the right direction and people's gas will be next. But this is why I love this guy, man. And of course, has the mainstream news covered it?
Not yet, but maybe
course
they
not.
will. Maybe
Well,
they will
maybe.
tonight.
Maybe.
Because I mean, WGN and Fox did have microphones at the announcement, so they may mention it in the news tonight, or they might have at 6. I don't know. Kathy says electric prices are terrible. The problem here, as most people realize, is that because we have some corrupt politicians in this state, not just the city, but also state politicians. They are just rubber stamping a lot of the requests from the utility companies for increases in funding. And anytime they want to do an infrastructure update, they don't even bother to dig into their billions of profits. They just ask the state for more money. And so what people in our government need to start doing is saying no. Just say no.
But
you're making billions of profits. Do the upgrades yourself. You want price increases? No.
But then the spigot to donations to their campaigns and their political PACs would run dry. That's why they're never going to do it. They won't do it. They'll never do it.
And that's why they need to be replaced with better candidates.
Yeah.
Which is, J Mall.
Like J Mall.
One of them. Like J Mall.
Johnson.
Or even Cam Buckner's not bad. Yeah. I mean, he's got pretty good plans for the public transportation. I mean, we have candidates with good ideas. I just wish we could take all the best ones and roll them up into one candidate.
Here's something that I want to share, because the fact that most of media is propping up Lightfoot, Vallis, and Garcia, and I'll say it again, the reason the Tribune endorsed Paul Vallis is because Bernie Epton is dead. Ed and I were sharing some text today about the fact that those three, the worst candidates, but they've got all the experience. The fact that this town looks at only the experience, which is bad experience, and the fact that the wrong kind, but because they've been part of the status quo system for so long, they don't pay attention to young blood. They don't pay attention to new ideas. They don't pay attention to fresh ideas. They don't pay attention to radical ideas. They don't pay attention to the experience, the legitimate experience of J Mall or Johnson, or to your point too, Cam Buckner.
And we'll get back into the discussion about the mayoral candidates. But let me finish this video and let's talk about some of the other stuff the candidates are doing. And yes, constitutional conservative. We will get into that too. Paul Vallis situation.
Constitutional conservative, do you recall the sexual abuse scandal that happened that did not go investigated when Paul Vallis was CEO of Chicago Public Schools? Of course you forgot that. Why is it that something like that, look, they were talking about that last election when he ran. Why aren't they mentioning that now? What kind of experience does this man have that anybody should be endorsing him when so many children were failed during his tenure as CEO? And that scandal just continued to escalate after he left as CEO of Chicago Public Schools. What about that, constitutional conservative? Anyway, go ahead, Ed. I'm sorry.
All right, so let's play the rest of his announcement here. I'll back it up. He was only talking for 10 seconds.
Today I announced that when I'm mayor in a few months, we are going to fire ComEd and municipalize our electric system right here in the city of Chicago. And let me tell you why that's important. The privatization of our power distribution services in the city of Chicago with ComEd has been utterly disgusting. It has been corrupt. They have been greedy.
I think they meant to type disgusting in the text there.
By the way, do you know the CEO of Exelon started following me on Twitter? I don't know why. I don't know how he found me.
Well, you know that Jerry, he's got some great ideas. Maybe I better start listening to that guy.
Oh, maybe he's pissed off because I've been talking about ComEd deserves the corporate death penalty that's usually meted out in other countries for corporations that behave as badly.
Oh, you think that's getting transcribed and passed on to him by somebody?
You know, it shocks me if it was, Ed, because we're just a little show here with now 1,666 subscribers, I'm proud to say. But, you know, we've been referred to as the least of the channels here on YouTube. So, you know, I understand we don't have a huge subscriber base, but when people find us, they love us, and we're this hidden treasure here in Chicago. But when the CEO of Exelon, I think the CEO, started following not the Chicago Corner account, but my personal account, I'm like, what the fuck's up with this? Do I need to start watching my back because of everything we're saying here on Chicago Corner, with the fact that these corporations are just never held accountable? They get slaps on the wrist. And this is why Jay Mall's proposal really, really speaks to me. Go ahead. Let's listen to more.
And I also have a theory about Jay Mall too that we'll talk about.
Okay.
In a little bit.
Our power distribution services in the city of Chicago with ComEd has been utterly disgusting. It has been corrupt. They have been greedy. Their shareholders are making millions while they make consumers overpay for electricity each and every day for their corrupt tactics. And I want to show you one of them. ComEd was just found guilty a few years ago on a federal bribery scheme. While you were being overcharged on your electricity bill, they were using that money to put in fake contracts and give political jobs and favors to politicians right here in the state of Illinois. And instead of get rid of our business with ComEd, we just made them pay $200 million in a fine.
That's really a year's worth of late fees. That's probably a year's worth of late fees collected by them.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that music in the background is not going to get us copyright strike. But
was there music in the background?
I can hear it, but I'm going to cross my fingers and hope he ain't screwing us over here, J Mal.
I didn't hear
That's it. No recourse for the consumers, but a few dollars back to the folks who they overcharge. This is ridiculous. And even after that, just a couple months ago, they're asking for another rate increase. What, they want us to pay for the hundreds of millions of dollars in fines for their corruption? It's time to get rid of our deal with ComEd so that we can stop the rate increases. We can control the jobs and stimulate our local economy. We can move into a greener society much easier. And we can stop the privatization and keep money right here in the city.
Okay, and quick answer to Kathy's question. This is who's following me, Kathy. Gil Quinones, CEO of ComEd, an Exelon company. We are powering the lives of more than 9 million Northern Illinoisans. Personal account. Retweet does not equal an endorsement.
Hi, Gil. How's it going?
Nice to see you, Gil. Can you get your fucking company in order and stop overcharging people?
You know, Gil, I mean, we got lots of great ideas here at Chicago Corner. Maybe you could become a Patreon, and then we can share some of those with you.
You know, I wish,
but it's not a quid pro quo. We'll give you those ideas anyway.
I wish him no ill will. If for whatever reason he started following me, if he actually is paying attention and knows about our show, or maybe he's seen me comment on some stuff on Twitter. Who knows? But hey, man, it's not personal. But your company is a shit show. And if you don't understand the fact that your fees are raping citizens across Chicago that can't afford a basic service that we rely on at the rates that you're getting away with while bribing politicians, I don't know what to say, man. If it's not under your purview or attention, it sure should be. And maybe you ought to start doing some shit different at the company. Because wouldn't it be cool, Ed? Just imagine a world where consumers in Chicago said, oh, yeah, ComEd, they're straight shooters. They give me a good deal. It's fair. We're paying fair rates for our electricity instead of constantly talking about how people are literally living month to month their rent and their utilities, and they can't afford barely anything else.
And speaking of shit show, here it is. Here's the lawyers for the ComEd 4 seeking to bar evidence of the utilities deal with feds. Expert on Chicago political corruption from upcoming bribery trial via the Chicago Tribune and the Microsoft conglomerate.
I think constitutional conservative has a point.
Oh, well, I mean, you don't have an electric car, so you're fine. In a flurry of pretrial filings, lawyers for the so-called ComEd 4 are seeking to keep large swaths of evidence away from the jury next month, including the utilities' admissions of a scheme to influence then House Speaker Michael Madigan, the millions of dollars in campaign contributions ComEd showered on lawmakers, and a prosecution expert who would testify about machine politics and corruption. Yeah, no. How about sunlight is the
no.
best disinfectant?
Yeah.
Let's do that instead. You know, you guys, you're gonna get what's coming to you, but you know, you're getting a trial just like all the other people get.
So the guy in the second, I think that's the lobbyist Hooker. What a perfect name.
Yeah, you
Lobbyist
got
John Hooker, who's basically Jesus Christ.
zoom out a little bit here. There we go.
So there's
yeah.
the previous
There they are.
former CEO Anne Pramaggiore.
Pramaggiore.
Thieves and
sounds Italian.
scoundrels. Yeah, must be Italian.
Fragile.
It
Okay.
must be Italian.
So yeah, we don't even need to read the rest of that.
Yeah,
because
we
it's
covered
just,
this last show too.
we talked about that. Okay, more clown car coming up right now. Oh yes, here we go. Let's throw that one into the mix here and see if it'll play without throwing an ad in front of it. Nope. All right, we'll come
Who's
back
she?
to that just a sec. She's pretty.
She's
Okay.
very pretty.
Yeah,
I need
that's why
someone
they,
like that
that's
in
why
my
they
life.
use them. Yeah, that's why they use them in the ads, because they're
Yeah.
pretty. Okay, and here we go.
Look at this guy.
Yes.
Look at this guy.
I'm losing my mind right here. I think it's the wings that are getting to me. We are interrupted by an appearance by Oreo the Stream Cat. Hello, Oreo. How are you this
You
evening?
have something to say, buddy? No, just gonna stare.
No, I'm just gonna sit here and look at things. It's fine. Okay.
Do you need help
Go to
opening
the
it?
polls in the crowded race for Chicago mayor. Candidates are trotting out big ideas to set themselves apart.
WGN's political reporter Tamon Bradley sat down with Congressman Jesus Chuy Garcia and joins us from our newsroom with more. Tamon.
Jesus the stash.
Yes. Where is that graphic? I don't have it.
It needs
wait,
to be
oh, it is.
Jesus the stash. That's what we've been
The
saying it all the
stash.
time here. I don't know why people haven't been picking up on it.
Well, Jerry, if you want to play around with the overlays while I play this video, that's fine with me.
All right.
They're on number 2.
Challenge to Rahm Emanuel in 2015, Jesus Chuy Garcia took fire for waiting months to release his economic plan. And when it came out, the reviews were less than stellar. So this time around, Garcia is out with a careful, targeted proposal.
People are hurting now. They need assistance now.
Congressman Jesus Chuy Garcia trying to stand out in the crowded mayoral field, proposing emergency property tax relief.
The property tax relief plan is one that recognizes that the city should have done something, that the city can do something, that it's tangible, that doesn't rely on Springfield.
Under Garcia's plan, an individual homeowner making $43,800 or less will be eligible to receive a $250 neighborhood preservation grant, while an individual taxpayer earning $58,340 or less will be eligible for a $500 grant.
Okay. First of all, Chewy, this would be much better if you were actually an alderperson putting this bill forward and currently making it happen, instead of waiting until after the election to propose this to city council. This is nothing. This is a nothing story right here. He's wanting tax. I mean, it's good to want the tax relief. People should be getting tax relief right now. This property tax bills are ridiculous. They shouldn't be that high for regular everyday people who have homes.
I can't disagree, man.
We can't. I mean, this is Chewy just trying to get some news because he's flagging. He's not going. I don't think it's. Well, basically, it's him and Lightfoot battling over which one of them is going to make it past the goal line in the primaries. And I don't know if either will.
I got a bad feeling we're going to get stuck with Lightfoot again, Ed. I'm going to vote for Jamal, sensing that she's still going to win because I want to vote my conscience. And I think everybody needs to vote their conscience. Forget this, Well, my strategy is I got to vote for them, even though they're the lesser of two evils, because evil might win. It's like, just fucking vote for the candidate that reflects your values. Stop the strategy sessions, because if you vote for the candidate who reflects your values, that candidate will have a better chance of possibly winning, as opposed to, well, Chewy's in now and he's an establishment candidate, and Lightfoot, and the media's telling me, Lightfoot and Vallis and Chewy are the ones front running. No, vote for the person that reflects your values, period.
I slightly diverge from that, only in that I don't want any of the establishment favorites to win. So I don't want Lori or Chewy or Paul Vallis to get past the goal line. And unfortunately, the only way to do that really is to try and get the people to coalesce around a challenger candidate. Now, I know that's controversial for a lot of people, but the situation in Chicago is we don't have ranked choice voting.
But they're brainwashed, though, to believe that, Ed. And yeah, you're right. Ranked choice voting is the right way to go. But look, the media is still propping up those three really bad candidates.
And that is a huge problem. My issue right now is all the challenger candidates right now. And we've got a lot of good ones, a lot of good choices here. But and I know, and I hate to say it, but we really, when you're in a primary like this, you kind of are splitting support in certain areas. So like if you're looking for someone who's really like a lefty or progressive type candidate, you've got like 3 or 4 candidates that kind of fit that bill. And we are getting closer to the election. So I think at some point, those candidates are going to have to make a hard choice and decide whether they want to be what I would consider a spoiler, or whether they want to coalesce around another candidate and support them. Who's that going to be? I'm thinking maybe Brandon Johnson, but we don't know right now. It might still be too soon to tell.
And if you saw Kathy's comment in the live chat, don't believe mass media, it's bought and paid for. That should be our mantra. I completely agree with you, Kathy, but the problem is not enough people are paying attention to this show to see your comment or discussing that amongst each other. By the way, let's thank Kathy for her $1 super chat and give her obligatory Chon. Kathy.
Where are the wings, Jerry?
Where
are we? Oh, yes. We are still kind of at the top of the show. We're in the first half hour. So thank you very much, Patreon supporters, for supporting us. Kathy, thank you very much. Dominic, we got
Dominic Coelho,
Shane
Coughlin,
and
Dr. Howard Ehrman from the People's Response Network.
Yeah, and we don't have any new
and hopefully more to come
yet. Hopefully more. If you'd like to support us, head to patreon.com/Chicago Corner. Throw $5 at us a month if you think you can afford it. It would definitely help us get our production values up. We can, maybe buy another microphone.
Or do more like in the field stuff, cover our gas to back and forth to events, or allow us to afford being able to hire extra help when we need it. Although I will say,
maybe we can be able to rent a truck to transport some chicken wings.
Yeah.
I've said that out loud, didn't I?
Lori has the wings. Although I think we handled the People's Response Network forum quite handily between the two of us.
Yeah.
But it does.
Next time I'll remember to unmute the thing at the front end of the show, though.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people weren't worried about not hearing me and my big mouth. It happens.
Yeah, that's fine. You wrapped it up at the end. It all worked out. We got to hear the candidates. That was the important part.
That was the important thing. And I think that, as much as I wanted to cover more on the ground during this election going to forums, we covered 2. We produced one of those 2 for PRN. I produced the video for it, the live stream. And it's like literally every other day I'm seeing another forum. And I'm so happy to see that there are so many forums. There was one last night that a friend invited me to. I think it was down at Historical Society or something. There's one tonight.
Yeah,
There's
and
one.
I know I haven't been paying that close to Chicago politics before I joined Chicago Corner, but I'm just wondering, and maybe Kathy knows, have they always had this many forums,
No.
or is this unusual?
I can
for
tell
an
you
election
from
season.
I can tell you from my experience, it's very unusual. But I'm very welcome. I mean, you can't go anywhere now without hearing what somebody has to say about something. And of course, clearly they have to regurgitate a lot of the same talking points, but that's okay. They need to put in their time and basically prove to constituents why they're trying to earn their vote. So
and talking points as a thing are not inherently bad. I mean,
they're not.
When you're a candidate, you kind of have to basically boil down what your argument is in a number of things that are easily repeatable and memorable, because you're going to go to a lot of places where not everybody is going to be exposed to you. So you go to this forum, this group of people gets to hear what you were going to say. You go to another forum, they haven't heard you from that forum. They're at this forum. You got to say that thing again. And so, I mean, it makes sense to have, a couple things that are easily memorable. That's the word.
This is what scares the shit out of me, though. We just said literally a forum every other day. Yeah. Do you know how many people I talk to, not in our sphere here on Chicago Corner, that regularly talk about politics? I had lunch with a friend of mine today.
Mm-hmm.
And who do I like in the race? I'm like, aren't you paying attention? Too many people are not paying attention, despite the fact the news is on every night covering all these forums. And I fear we're going to have the same low voter turnout, as much as everybody reviles Lori Lightfoot with Chewy in this race, who could act as a spoiler for the better candidates with better ideas that aren't the experienced status quo candidates like Vallis, Garcia, or Lightfoot. Not enough people are engaged or paying attention.
I think
it scares the shit out of me, Ed.
I think, well, I mean, we don't have our eyes and ears on everything in the city, but I'm hoping that one of the candidates has got a good ground game. I'm hoping that candidate is one of the ones we like.
But too many people I talk to, what I'm saying is, too many people I talk to just conversationally, right? They know I, kind of have a peripheral idea I do this show.
Yeah.
They're still not paying attention. I'm not expecting them to watch our show. But when they, peripherally ask what's going on with the show and what's happening in Chicago, I'm like, you don't have to watch our show. Turn on the effing news. Turn on WTTW. This is an important election. Why are you asking me? Why aren't you turn on your radio in the car when you're driving somewhere and listen to what's going on? Too many people are completely disconnected from it. And that's why we're going to have a potential. I hope I'm wrong. I don't want to be doom and gloom here, Ed, but I'm really very afraid, given previous history and the fact that smart people I'm talking to are just tuned out.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess. I'm speculating here that I think some of this has to do with we had so much bad news over the last couple of years with the pandemic lockdown and all the other stuff going on, that a number of people and some of the younger generations, I mean, they don't listen to radio anyway. A lot of them have tuned out news almost entirely. Yeah. Some of them don't trust the corporate news. That's they earned that.
Can't blame them, but it doesn't mean you still can't hear what's happening. And
right. So now the difficulty is finding the information. Where do you go? I mean, yeah, you could monitor Twitter all day, but who does that other than me?
Me too.
I mean, so where are they getting their news from? They can't. I mean, Newsy's not going to give them the local news, I don't think, through the streaming services. And then maybe they'll tune into a local station or check one of the YouTube channels for like WGN or Fox 32 or whatever. But they only show just a tiny portion of the things that the politicians are doing during their campaign. I tuned into WGN News, I think it was a 6 p.m. or 10 p.m. I think it was a 6 p.m. broadcast, just to see what kind of updates they're doing on the candidates. And most of those updates unless it was like from a forum they hosted. They are very, very truncated and edited down to tiny little sound bites. So usually it's whatever they thought was important that the candidate said, and then they threw everything else on the cutting floor.
From primarily the three candidates we were talking about, too, Lightfoot, Garcia, or Vallis.
Which is why I'm like, okay, maybe they'll talk about Jamal just because he did a press conference and talked about how he wanted to fire ComEd. So, and it's not a terrible idea to municipalize your electric grid or any of your utilities. And now we get basically to my theory on Jamal. And some of you are supporting him to support him, and that's great. I think he is there to push everybody else left. I think he's there to challenge all the other candidates into doing more than what they're promising. So that's why he wants to fire ComEd. And while I think it's a great idea, I don't know how feasible it's going to be for him to get rolling in his first year in office if he gets elected.
Well, if he's got more progressive alder people, though, who are running in a lot of these local ward races, I mean, we've seen incumbents leaving, and the possibility there might be more of a progressive bloc in alignment with what he's proposing.
Now, what I'm saying, though, is that even though we know that that ComEd has a ton of corruption in there, they're connected to this city with tentacles like you wouldn't believe. So what it does, though, is it puts a whole lot of pressure into ComEd into giving us a better deal. So even if he's not successful in municipalizing the electric grid in our city, he's getting the conversation going, and he's putting pressure on the existing electricity supplier to stop screwing us over.
I have respect for many of the candidates except for Vallis, Garcia, or Lightfoot. And I say this with all obviously respect and admiration of Jamal, because I know I'm going to be, unless something really unexpected happens, I know I'm going to be voting for him. I haven't seen him doing stuff up here on the north side, Ed. And that's why Vallis is suddenly getting trotted out as the closet white racists candidate. All the lakefront liberals are going to vote for him because he's the whitest candidate. And perhaps it was calculated to what you're saying here that Jamal felt that this would get headlines. It should get headlines. But if it doesn't get headlines because of the media bias, people up here on the north side are leaning towards Vallis because they hate Lightfoot. And nothing's going to change, man. Vallis is going to, given how extraordinarily inept he was running CEO, and that's matter of public record. The sexual abuse scandal, separate from that. He was not a great CEO at Chicago Public Schools. He was trying to privatize shit with charter schools with Arnie Duncan. That's what Paul Vallis is going to bring to the city of Chicago. Privatization. Yeah. And he claims he's a Democrat when everything he does says otherwise. But he's running as a Democrat, much in this, because he couldn't run as a Republican because no one would vote for him. So he's wrapping himself in the mantle of Democrat, the way Trump wrapped himself in the mantle of Republican when he realized the Democrats would never allow him to run in their party because, he was a lousy, based, just awful personality. Basically, Trump was willing to show all the ugliness of what a candidate is, and the Democrats just did not want that to show, but the Republicans embraced it. Well, actually, the Republicans ended up having to embrace it because they didn't have a choice as he ran as a populist. But getting back to Vallis here.
Well, since we're on Vallis, let's shift gears a little bit into this video.
By the way, really quickly, the State of the Union started, and I love this comment from Constitutional Conservative because once again, even a broken clock is right twice a day.
He's hoping for designated survivor. Yeah, actually, I watched the first season of that, and I'm like, oh, man.
Boy, was that some serious wish fulfillment on behalf of the showrunner and producer?
No kidding. So, where was I with I was going to play the that's on the other one. Okay, you're in the Lightfoot library. That's why.
Speaking of Vallis.
Hang on a second.
Oh, we have a comment over on Rockford from Dominic. He says, I sent out 41 emails to aldermanic candidates today promoting constituent polling in Chicago Corner. So far, 2 responded. One candidate said, no, thank you. And another called me and was interested in constituent polling. Please visit independentvoterparty.org. Dominic, are you willing to share which candidate said no thank you to constituent polling? Because I think we all need to know who that candidate was so people make sure not to vote for them. Thank you, Dominic, for that update.
So here we are.
I am Julio. I am the great Julio.
Calling out Paul Vallis and calling for the political donation from that officer to be returned. Vallis says his campaign has already done that and more. Paul Vallis speaking to a luncheon gathering of retired police officers at an Italian restaurant on the Northwest Side.
Oh, one of those Italian restaurants up on the Northwest Side where all at Chicago's Copland.
They get pretty decent pizza at that place.
Well, I'm sure they do. But I'm just talking about the neighborhood.
Yeah.
From Pastor Marvin Hunter. It stems from a $5,000 donation from now retired police officer Richard Hagan to Vallis last June. Hagan was among those named in a pair of civil lawsuits connected to the Laquan McDonald case.
Pause it for a second.
Yeah.
Why? Why? Because Vallis has been at the forefront of saying we need to start taking away all these restrictions on the police, and we need to lessen the consent decree because we're tying the police's hands. That's why this asshole who was involved in gunning down Laquan McDonald donated money to Paul Vallis.
And by the way, Vallis isn't the only one that has that perspective.
I know. Yeah, I know. Who also voted for Donald Trump, even though he's a Democrat. He's not a Democrat. Look, these are wealthy businessmen who are basically glomming onto a label depending on how much they think it's going to bring them votes, while they are going to absolutely, utterly betray the people who actually get bamboozled into thinking they are what they claim they are. But this is why people should not be looking at labels anyway, D's or R's. What does the candidate propose? What does he represent? What ideals does he represent? Do they represent that align with your ideals and your values? And if your values align with this guy who wants to, because you're all worried about law and order and we have to have this sense of security and give the cops, more money, and that's not going to make crime go down. It's basically going to drain the amount of money that goes towards getting to the root causes of crime in these neighborhoods.
My fellow Americans, I'm here to make sure that we continue to pump more money into police budgets because malarkey, corn pop. What was I talking about?
The guy who crafted the crime bill. Do you know I had a heated conversation with an African-American friend who's a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat, will defend these motherfuckers in the National Democratic Party come hell or high water. And I was saying, how can you Biden, he crafted the crime bill that really puts people in these neighborhoods kept defending him because
decades
Democrats
of terrible choices, and this guy became president.
Yep.
But
do you know what they also said?
Yeah.
He's better than Trump because Trump is Hitler. And I'm like,
yeah, you're being fed that. You're being fed that. I mean,
Trump wants to kill black people is what I heard. And I'm just
he's an opportunist, and for sure he's a racist. But
of course he is. These guys, they're all the freaking same. I mean, he and Biden would basically be chums. But again, Trump showed the ugliness of the executive office that has always been there.
That's the reason why
it's always been there. You don't think that there's ugly shit going on behind the scenes with Biden? Stuff that happened with Clinton that we know happened, stuff that happened with Obama. Take the label away from the back of their names, the D or the R's, all the same. But they managed to put a veneer on it that Trump peeled away, and the Democrats have been trying to recover from that ever since by literally guiding their supporters into thinking that this is what I was told, Donald Trump is like. Now, I'm no fan of Donald Trump, you know that. I think he's like one of the most disgusting people that's emerged on the cultural and political scene way before he ran for president.
Yeah.
The Apprentice was like,
Jerry, we could spend 2 hours talking about how the duopoly is basically leading us all into full-blown fascism, but we're talking about Chicago politics.
All right.
Now. So let's try and finish this one.
We're also talking about this idea that Democrats and Republicans are different, and they're not. And getting back to Vallis here, Vallis is claiming he's a Democrat. He's not. He's a Republican, and he will govern like a Republican.
Mr. Vallis, number one, return the money. Return the blood money. Number two, we're asking that Mr. Vallis come to the Black community and make a public apology.
There's nothing to apologize for. Number one, the police officer in question, there was no wrongdoing. And number two,
Really? That's where you're going with that?
That should disqualify him right now, here and now, because that's the attitude that Rahm Emanuel had when he covered it up, because he knew how it was going to impact him with the potential reelection that he basically slid out the side door from.
That comment was a choice, Paul, and you made the wrong one.
Because of our concern about the sensitivity of the community to actually not accept a donation and turn the donation over to an advocacy group.
The Vallis campaign donating the $5,000 contribution to Parents for Peace and Justice, and then adding a matching $5,000 as well. Hunter, who has not endorsed any mayoral candidate yet, also raising concerns about Vallis consulting for and being endorsed by the
Vallis
police.
To make Paul Vallis mayor of the city of Chicago will be the equivalent of handing the keys of this city to FOP.
The police contract I negotiated.
I agree with that.
Kept probably close to 2,000 police officers from taking their retirement. But that police contract also had all the accountability provisions that the community had been clamoring for.
But on the day Jesus Chuy Garcia unveiled a property tax relief plan, he was facing questions himself about political contributions from FTX Crypto, which is now trying to recoup donations after the indictment of its former CEO.
We had nothing to do with the $200,000. That didn't come to my campaign. We didn't need it. We didn't ask for it. I ran unopposed. That's a question for the investigators.
Yeah, well, and to be fair to Chewy, basically all of the Democrats got money. Yeah. And a lot of Republicans too, because it's all a gigantic, big, huge club.
And we ain't in it.
We're not in it.
We only have 2 viewers in the live stream right now. That's depressing. What did I say? Did I piss somebody off?
No, I don't know, maybe.
Probably.
Doesn't matter. Well, if you're watching us later, hello and thanks for watching.
Yes, thanks for tuning in.
And we understand that there was a whole lot of other stuff that was live at the time that we have been broadcasting. We had there was a mayoral forum over on PBS.
That's true.
And then about 20 minutes ago, the president started yapping about how great he thinks the economy is based on fake job numbers. I'm just guessing because I know what he's going to say. And
I shouldn't
look,
take
guys.
it personally.
I mean, nobody should have to be paying high utility bills like we're paying. Nobody should be paying multiple dollars for a dozen eggs. We shouldn't be paying enormous prices at the gas pump. We shouldn't have to be dealing with these types of cost of living increases, which they're calling inflation, and I know is price gouging. So that, in a nutshell, is basically what my rebuttal would be to the president's bullshit that he's feeding you on all of the national channels right now. So
Garcia said that a $2,900 direct donation to his campaign was previously given to charity, but he said it would be returned to FTX if the campaign was asked to do so.
All right,
Craig.
All right, that's enough of that.
FTX is like, I'm not going to go off on a total tangent, but FTX is the equivalent of what happened with Bernie Madoff. And we're not seeing it, but they didn't rip off enough rich people for it to like be in the news all the time the way Madoff did.
Yeah.
Blows me away. This guy.
Except he's embarrassed the hell out of everyone that they donated money to, and all that information came out.
Yeah.
I mean, I have it available, but we don't need to go through that right now, because all it really does is show you that basically every Democratic Party organization in every state more or less got donations, and along with the President's Victory Fund and all those other PACs that they make donations to, so that it's harder to track who donated where. Okay, so we talked about J. Mall wanting to fire ComEd. We talked about Chewy the Stash and his fake property tax relief program. We talked about Paul Vallis and how terrible he would be as a candidate. And we are now up to this. Lori grabs another shovel because she likes to shovel it.
She sure likes to shovel it. She likes to shovel a lot. She was also dancing again. I caught a video on Facebook. She was at some Nigerian organization's event on the Southwest side. And I, as I often do, I typed, Lori dances while the city burns. And people were saying, oh, no, she's, all she does is stuff for the South and West side. I'm like, what fucking city are you living in? And it was, of course, a white.
Sorry,
that was another one. And then somebody started defending her, and I'm just like, how do you guys buy the bullshit that she's shoveling right? That's what it looks like she's shoveling right there. Shoveling shit.
So this actually, I mean, it's the story that this is from is actually not. I mean, she posted this on her Facebook page, but the story is up your alley, Jerry.
Yes.
Developers break ground on $100 million Regal Mile film studios in the South Shore. Derek Dudley, producer of Showtime's The Chi, is a partner in the state-of-the-art media campus, which aims to open in fall 2024 near 79th Street in Stony Island. So yeah, and here's Lori trying to take her credit for this.
Yeah.
It was not originally part of her Invest Southwest deal, but she's basically making it part of that so she can take credit for it.
Oh, she's a credit whore. She rides other people's coattails and associates herself with things that she had nothing to do with.
Yeah. So, although I mean, she has a little to do, because they did bring it up to her, and of course, because she always wants to bring more revenue into the city, and all she can see is, fame and connections and Hollywood. Well, the city was already giving, tax breaks and stuff when Rahm was mayor, right?
Well, and they still do. Tax breaks. If there's one thing I came away from Sundance with, Ed, a much better knowledge and understanding of how tax breaks work. So that's an ongoing thing.
Yeah. So when they brought this up to her, basically it was a no-brainer for her to say, yeah, go ahead and do it. So it was like, I'll read here. Developers Mayor Lori Lightfoot broke ground Monday at the Regal Mile Studios development in South Shore, a project officials have touted as a boon to Chicago's film industry and a way to get kids of color involved in media production. Well, okay, that's true. I mean, this probably will be good for residents on the South and West sides if they're able to be involved in either training or
And I also want to say, I also want to toss in CineSpace introduced an initiative years ago. It's called the CineCares program that was initially created by former studio president Alexander Pisios. And they basically were at the forefront of doing this. Now, CineSpace got sold. Alex is no longer president of the studio. I think this is great that this new studio opened, because I don't know that much independent production is being embraced at CineSpace when you've got Dick Wolf taking up all the stages there. But that's just my professional insight into this. This is going to be very good for South and West Side filmmakers and professionals, especially if they do engage more in cultivating local Chicago indie talent, especially on the South and West sides, because that is an underrepresented faction in the indie film scene here in Chicago.
Yeah, the Block Club article continues. The Regal Mile Studios will also provide educational programs for young people as the developers are working with Chicago Public Schools to offer opportunities in film and TV production. Mayor Lori Lightfoot and Alderman Michelle Harris of the 8th said. The project is currently in the 5th Ward, but was redrawn into the new 8th Ward map that goes into effect in a few months. So yeah, I think, and Michelle Harris was involved in this deal too. So that explains probably why that was redrawn into her district. Okay. City Council gave the project the green light in July 2021, unanimously approving a zoning change for the properties. Developers plan to start construction later this year and open in fall 2024. Now it's running about a year late, I think, from the original plan, probably due to the lockdown.
I heard about the construction there in the founding.
Yeah, so then the economic problems we're currently all dealing with. I got a quote here. There's no place else on the planet like the city of Chicago when it comes to our creatives, Lightfoot said at a press conference at the site Monday. What we must do is make sure that we are continuing to invest in them. ID8 Ventures. Yeah.
If only there were that spigot of money to help independent filmmakers finance their films so they don't have to go to Sundance or basically look at other states for opportunities because they embrace the indie filmmaking scene.
Yeah, well, this is not a terrible story.
No, it's good. I'm glad to see this happen.
And I'm just saying,
time will tell.
Really, Lightfoot is basically just, she just happens to be mayor at the time that it's happening.
Right.
That's all it is.
Speaking of older people, I have a very quick update from Dominic. Cleopatra Draper of the 9th Ward is the one who said no to constituent polling and Chicago Corner. So, hey, everybody in the 9th Ward that might be watching, if she's got a challenger, you know what to do. Thanks, Dominic.
Okay. All right. Several celebrities recorded videos congratulating Dudley for the project's groundbreaking, including rapper and actor Common, who Dudley managed for more than 3 decades, and Shy creator Lena Waithe, Erica Badu, John Legend, Cedric the Entertainer, Taraji Henson, Jermaine Dupri, and others also film message. Okay, well, look, Hollywood is on board with this studio, and it's going to probably create some good jobs. So that's good news. Overall, good news. Lori doesn't get credit for it, though. That's the bottom line. Okay, so here we go. Oh, and in case anyone was wondering,
wait, did you say
fires?
Do you want to double down on that Lori doesn't deserve any credit for this?
Should I double down?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. You will stop speaking. You will stop speaking. You're full of crap, and that's the nicest thing that I can say.
Well, yeah, I am, but I'm still correct. You don't deserve credit for this.
I fundamentally disagree with your hypothesis.
Okay. All right. So there is some crazy stuff going on in the city, and I thought I should update you all on this as soon as I can get the right tabs open here. Okay.
Welcome to my world, Ed, when I host.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Pegleg had informed me that a lot of stuff is going down, and he's not responsible.
Oh, I wonder about that.
A string of arsons in 2 different neighborhoods. The latest incident happened Friday near Cermak and Kenneth in Lawndale.
Pegleg in the house.
This was a report from Sunday evening. Let me back this up and start again.
Pegleg is burning down the house.
The city's on fire, Jerry. The city is on fire.
Yep. Oh.
This morning, Chicago police are also investigating a string of arsons in 2 different neighborhoods. The latest incident happened Friday near Cermak and Kenneth in Lawndale. Police say someone set fire to garages and trash cans in the area there. At least 2 other incidents were reported nearby on Costner. Police are also investigating a case of arson near Cermak and Drake in the Little Village neighborhood. Officers say a group of suspects intentionally set fire to several vehicles on the block. That happened on Wednesday and Thursday of last week.
Watch breaking news on YouTube. Subscribe to ABC 7 Chicago Eyewitness News.
Oh, that's
Did you hear Citadel? Did you hear Citadel Tower here in Chicago also caught on fire?
I did hear about that. Actually, yeah, we can mention that briefly. Just it wasn't. They put it out pretty quickly, and
I wonder how many documents they were able to burn.
It sounded like it was a nothing burger, but you never know when it's a building where Citadel was, and the fact that they're still trying to deal with the fact that they haven't covered any of their failure to delivers in their short selling positions. For some of you who understand the Wall Street jargon. And it's not done, Jerry. There is more.
WGN's Alyssa Donovan is live in Austin with the latest tonight. Alyssa.
Yeah, Ray and Lourdes, firefighters were called to this mixed-use warehouse building early this afternoon on reports of a fire. When they arrived, there was heavy smoke coming out of this building. Luckily, the handful of people inside the building had made it out safely. There was one injury reported, a dog bite. On Monday afternoon, smoke could be seen billowing over the Cicero stop of the CTA Green Line. The smoke coming from a massive warehouse fire at the corner of Kilpatrick and West Lake Street. The Chicago Fire Department was called to the scene just after 2 p.m.
Upon further investigation, they discovered that they had a large volume of fire on the interior of a structure of a truss roof structure.
Fire officials say the type of truss roof structure in the building makes it extremely dangerous once a fire starts. So crews fought the fire defensively from the outside of the building.
It's just unsafe to put people on the inside because of it's partially collapsed. It's probably going to collapse some more, and it's just not worth putting anybody on side because it looks like everybody's outside. There's no life hazard right now.
Firefighters were unable to conduct a full search of the building, but they believed there was no one left inside.
There were no searches, but there were, I believe, 3 self-evacuees at that time.
One of those evacuees was transported to Stroger Hospital due to a dog bite. Fire officials say the dog was in a cage in the building, and it's possible the man was trying to get the dog out when he was bit. The building is a mixed-use property. Part of it was used for vehicle repairs, and another area was used for creating artwork and heavy metals.
Okay, so if you're doing vehicle repairs, you might be using a welding torch. If you're doing art stuff, you might have paints that have oils and flammable materials in them. So, yeah, I mean, any number of things could have started that fire. It could have been an electrical thing, any spark. It could have been a space heater. It could have been anything. But, yeah, but once again, Pegleg didn't do it.
Could have been Ronald. From Backdraft.
Yeah. So, yeah, could have been Ronald from Backdraft. But we're not done, Jerry. There's more.
Police and fire departments rushed here to the scene when it became clear just how large this fire was. The smoke plume alone was so large, so vast, that at one point it showed up on weather radar. The view from Skycam 9 shows the true reach of this sprawling fire. Flames quickly spreading throughout the 200,000 square foot building. One of the manufacturing facilities for Morgan Lee, a builder of custom furniture, fixtures, and clothing for retailers.
When my daughter got up to go to work, she was like, "Dad, there's a big fire."
Tom Camilleri lives not far away.
And it was just this big old funnel. It looked like a tornado, the way it was V-shaped. Yeah, it was humongous.
Part of that tornado wedge shape was caught on camera nearby in Homewood by environmental consultant Dr. David Zaber.
It was mind-blowing. It was really an intense plume. My first concern was, of course, people in the area, friends and family live here, and luckily the plume was high enough in the air that I don't think there was a lot of exposure of local residents, although there is some smell to the west here now because the winds are coming from the east.
This is happening in our state, but we're not the only states that got fires and explosions and stuff. Over in Ohio, they got a train derailed and there was a chemical leak and stuff, and they actually had to evacuate parts of Ohio because they were going to do a controlled burn of whatever the spill was, and it's going to create like a toxic cloud basically, and that's probably going to be another airborne toxic event that they're going to have to deal with. Hopefully it doesn't travel too far. But I mean, how many things are on fire right now, Jerry? It's insane.
You know, though, Ed, I'm wondering, maybe we're just thinking more is on fire because there was a lot of news coverage. I mean,
but
in this one short window.
Yeah, this is just in the last couple of days, and it's not. I mean, I don't even think this is even fire season for a lot of places. You know, for Chicago, that would have been like around Columbus Day.
Yeah.
So, Native American Day, whatever it's called, Indigenous Peoples Day, October sometime. Yeah, Kathy Powers has it right as she quotes Billy Joel.
It's been always burning since the world's been turning. True story.
True story.
Oh,
all right. Was there more? Did I have another one? I don't think. No, I think that's the only other one. Fire story there. So what else is next? Oh, that is what's next. Okay. Let's see if this works.
The war in
No,
Ukraine.
we got the lady with. We got okay. You know what?
We're
We're
not going to
just gonna
complain about that.
I'm just gonna watch her because she's nice.
Yeah, she's nice.
Okay. All right, that's enough.
Police tell
She's
us,
nice too.
Tanya, Chicago police tell us officers were responding to a call here at Virgin Hotels when they discovered various electronic items and postal property.
Virgin Hotels. Can you pause it for a second?
Take a look.
Yeah.
There are no Virgin Hotels, but I digress. Go ahead.
Yeah. So in case you guys are just picking up on this, okay.
Trail
So
mix,
they found postal equipment and letters and mail in a hotel room downtown. Now, is this part of a giant?
Who checked in?
Giant
Look.
crime wave? Yeah, Jerry,
whole
you're getting
investigation-
to it. Yeah, let's play the video and then
You
yeah.
can see in this video, officers were seen carrying out the mail items. This happened within just the past few hours here, hauling several large bags out of the hotel. Police say Area 3 detectives, along with USPS, are now investigating, and the property will be taken into inventory.
Can you pause
This
it for a second,
comes in the
please?
wake of
Yeah.
What is there to investigate but the guest ledger?
Well, yeah.
Who
find
checked
out
in?
who it
Who
was.
paid for it? Who bought that room? Who was in there? When? And if the maids just discovered this, it had to be the person who had just recently vacated that room.
Yeah. So the postal inspectors should be all over this.
Right. Why? What's so complicated? I mean, this story, she should be reporting the fact that, oh, they've got somebody in custody, is what they should be reporting. How do you, I mean, first of all, whoever the perp was clearly didn't think that they were renting this room, that they were going to get caught if they were using this room. So wherever they left, whenever they left, however they decided to depart, the fact that they are the last name on record associated with this room, they should be reporting on the fact that they've got a suspect in custody.
This is a continuing theme with the news channels these days, is that they're so desperate to get the story out there, don't even wait until they have enough information to report it properly.
And then by the time the information comes in, it's a new news cycle, and we don't get a resolution to what they're reporting on.
Yeah, so they found mail and equipment in a hotel building. Okay, that's half the story. You got the postal inspectors looking into it now. Okay, that's 2/3 of a story. No leads. They're not hunting anybody. They're not looking into seeing if maybe this is a larger conspiracy to go through people's mail and take all the stuff that they want.
Wait a minute. You're going to tell me there are no security cameras in that hotel?
I don't know. It's a
In those
Virgin
hallways?
hotel. It's a Virgin hotel,
which means they should
Jerry.
have
It might
a
not
lot of-
have cameras.
Right.
any local mail carriers being targeted. Thieves have been stealing their master arrow keys at gunpoint in many instances across the city. It's something the Postal Carrier Union is very concerned about, reaching out to city and state leaders for help. Again, police found different electronic items and postal property in a hotel room here. At this point, they say no one is in custody as Area 3 detectives continue their investigation.
So the
Last
question
night,
is,
there should have been an update today with whoever was on that ledger.
and the question is, when they say electronic equipment, what are they talking about? Are they talking about postal scanners? Are they talking about, I mean, they mentioned at the end because they didn't have enough story about the previous story with all the postal carriers getting their master keys stolen. Now,
not to mention the past 2 years of checks being stolen and washed from postal drops all over the city for 2 years. And we talked about this at least 3 different instances.
Yeah. Kathy's got it. Kathy's got it right.
Sorry, I'm eating and broadcasting, but I haven't eaten since this morning.
Yeah, Kathy, I check every day for updates. I'm searching. I don't know where else to find information on this. I got to find a way to get maybe the court information for where the woman is getting prosecuted for stealing the wings. But I got no leads.
Here's my
no leads at all.
It was you, Ed. You broke my heart. I knew it was you. Okay, so she launders the money to buy the chicken wings from all of these, one establishment or multiple establishments?
I think she's ordering them all from the one place.
Okay, so where's the one place delivering the chicken wings to? Her?
To her. And then
Is that what the story said?
They're coming to her. She's taking them in a van somewhere. They don't say where.
That's bizarre.
Like, well, maybe, I guess, like, they had cameras showing the van leaving, but they don't know where it
was.
went.
It her van?
Good
Do
question.
we know if she owned that van?
These are great questions. I wish investigative reporters would look into that.
Blue light cameras all over the city that routinely will check your license plate to make sure your tags are current, so that if they're not, they can issue you an automatic ticket. You're going to tell me that all the cop cars across the city that have got those little scanners on the top and all the blue light cameras, is anybody monitoring the blue light cameras? Is the video from the blue light cameras archived daily, hourly, that people can go check the path of look? If this was the Unabomber, we'd know where those chicken wings went.
I would like to suggest that we link all the cameras together in the city that are available to the city, and we'll call it Wing Spotter. Because, I mean, there are enough cameras where if they actually wanted to do that type of surveillance to track down where a vehicle went, they could do it.
We know that they very quickly figured out what happened in the Juicy Smollier robbery or assault. That French thespian Juicy Smollier, they wasted no time in checking those cameras to make. And look, the guy was a piece of shit that he was even trying to incite a race war to boost his own career. But isn't it interesting, Ed, how quickly they were able to use all those cameras to figure out what happened there?
Yeah.
I remember that one, I think he was a Chicago Public Schools CEO, superintendent. His name was Michael Scott, and he committed suicide.
Michael Scott?
Yeah,
really?
Another Michael Scott, years ago, during the Daley administration. And he apparently shot himself along the river near the East Bank Club.
Ooh.
Allegedly shot himself. But they couldn't find any video to see. It was a surprise to everybody that this guy shot himself, because apparently, by all accounts, he wasn't suicidal. So, well, what about the cameras around there? Can you confirm it was nothing from the blue light cameras around that area? You think it was a suicide? Look, the way that the blue light cameras are utilized is completely selective and based on priority, political priority.
Yeah, if they wanted to find out where the wings went, they would find out.
That's right. And allow Ed to sleep better at night.
Instead, someone's having a really, really huge Super Bowl party. And it's with a really good deal on wings.
It's a good theory. She was stocking up ahead of time for a Super Bowl party.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I had checked in a previous time we talked about this. I had the map up of the general area and where that school was, and there were like 6 heralds within the vicinity. So I mean, if someone wanted to unload cases of wings, it wouldn't have been that hard to do it. And if you're doing cash only business anywhere,
here's where the blue light cameras work. Kathy's comment.
Yeah. Sadly, it's bad priorities is what it is.
Yep.
Really bad priorities. Anyway, so I wanted to jump back into election stuff just briefly to talk about this story. Ranked choice voting in Chicago. System would save city money and be more democratic, Alderman says from Block Club Chicago. Ranked choice would allow voters to list candidates in order of preference, potentially eliminating costly runoff elections. Its supporters hope City Council will at least have a conversation about the system. Yeah,
and it's just too goddamn logical. It's just too logical.
Save
Chicago, money?
Yeah.
Save money? No.
No.
Even though we're broke,
or
we
be more democratic?
Yeah. No, can't have that.
As Chicagoans face the daunting prospect of selecting from 9 candidates in this month's mayoral race, a Northside alderperson wants to explore changing how the city votes in local elections. Alderman Matt Martin of the 47th introduced a resolution to the City Council last week calling for a hearing to discuss an increasingly popular idea, ranked choice voting. It's sad to me that it's just a hearing at this point. We know what ranked choice voting is, and I would say half of the City Council probably does too. But they got to start the ball rolling somewhere. Sadly, that means that even if they have decent conversations around this, it's probably not going to happen for maybe another 5 years. Maybe they'll have a vote on doing it. But let's cross our fingers and hope. And maybe we need to try and figure out how to do a ballot resolution for whatever the next municipal election is to get a fire lit under this. Ranked choice voting allows voters to list candidates in order of preference instead of selecting just one potential winner. Candidates still must receive 50% of the vote to win the election under the system, but if they fall short of that threshold, the candidate in last place is eliminated, with voters' additional choices then redistributed to other candidates. The process continues until one candidate gets more than 50% of the vote and wins the election.
Last person standing. It just makes too much goddamn sense to implement.
Yeah, so that way, it wouldn't be there. There's no spoiler. This way,
and it also addresses the low voter turnout. When there is low voter turnout, at least this kind of gets to the finish line faster without spoilers being able to screw shit up for the few people that come out and vote.
Yeah, here's Kathy saying, "Yeah, it'll be in rules for 5 years." Yeah, so knowing City Council, they like it how it is because it's rigged for them.
It's like the Electoral College, Ed. Electoral College was formed when, back in the days when people still owned slaves, and it was about, ruling class and populations. And it's like, despite the fact that most of our urban centers across the country have more voters in them, we still have this, it should be one person, one vote, not the Electoral College. But that's been kept in place to benefit those who know how to manipulate it. Same thing here. That's why you're not going to, that's why, as Kathy said, it's going to be tied up in rules for 5 years.
Yeah. So here, I mean, that's it in a nutshell. Really, it's like you get to vote for who you want. You get to vote for your second choice, and depending on how they set up ranked choice voting, maybe you'll have a third choice. But then it's basically weighted on they eliminate the one with the least votes, and then they keep doing that until somebody's got a majority. It makes sense. It's much more fair than the current system.
And efficient. Much more efficiency, I think, is the most important.
And then because of the way that they do the counting on this, then there's no runoff. You got one election, so you don't have to deal with doing it twice.
Yeah, and spending money on it twice.
So that would save money, which the city keeps complaining
they don't have.
Broke.
All right.
Yeah. You got money. Chicago ain't broke.
Thomas Tresser.
So let's see. What's the next thing on the roll here? We have, we have an Aldermort update. I got to do overlays for all of these stupid titles that I'm coming up with here, Jerry. NW Booze Cruise on Twitter spotted this sign. It says, apparently there's a rat problem in the 45th. And there's this sign/sticker. It says, warning, target, rat. This alderman has a bullying problem and referred to his constituents as rats. Let me see if I can zoom in so I can read the rest of this. Okay, that's a little closer. He would constantly make comments to me such as, quote, I'm going to eradicate the ward of rats. And I'm not talking about the kind with 4 legs. Tanya King, who served as Gardner's chief of staff early in his tenure, testified under oath in September as part of an ongoing lawsuit over Gardner's Facebook practices. He had an agenda to go after certain people once he was in office. We need your help to eliminate the alderman problem in the area. Vote him out. So that was
I love that flyer, and I was just my memory or my consciousness was just jogged in regards to who I've been feeling like Gardner, Voldemort. Hold on that. Am I right or am I right?
Holy cow.
He is the undead. Separated at birth? I think not. There we go.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh.
Okay. All right. It's 8:53. And no porn bots in the chat. I'm disappointed, but we're still happy that you are all here watching us live while you have so many other choices, and we thank you for flying Air Chicago Corner. We should talk about the 46th ward for a bit. How about that?
Sure.
Let's do that. Maybe we can pick a favorite here. Meet the 46th ward aldermanic candidates in Lakeview Forum on Thursday. So I guess they're having a forum on Thursday. 6 candidates are running to replace retiring alderman James Krappelman. Yes, in the 46th ward, the R is not silent. Which includes a portion of Lakeview and much of Uptown. And here's the 6 candidates.
I like the upper right.
Clockwise from top left. That is Angela Clay, Patrick Nagel, Kim Waltz, Marianne Lalonde, Rashonda Williams, and Michael Cortez.
I haven't even heard her platform, and I like Angela already.
Okay, so let's see, let me get to the bio page that tells us all of their information.
All right,
here we go.
This one, Angela. I want to hear about her first.
All right, let's see. Oh, hey, look who's first.
All
okay.
Right.
Angela Clay, in running for 46th Ward Alderperson, Uptown native Angela Clay is working
Wait, is
to
that
build.
her? Is that her? Go up, scroll up again.
Did we cover this already? I can't remember.
But no. The one on the far. Look, go up to that picture again at the top.
This one?
No. Okay, from go
on the top left.
Let me see the names.
Top left.
No, I'm sorry, my mistake. Scroll up a little bit more. Who's after Patrick Nagel?
After Patrick Nagel, that's Kim Waltz.
Well, let's hear about Kim. Yeah. Let's hear about.
Oh,
Kim
you
Waltz.
want to? Okay, we'll come back to Angela Clay, but we'll get Jerry's crush out of the way first.
Maybe not. If I hear her platform, I might suddenly change my mind.
All right. Well, she definitely has model skills here.
Definitely.
Kim Waltz, a veteran of Northside Democratic politics. Kim Waltz is making her first run for alderperson. She has the backing of some of the area's political bigwigs. Waltz
I already saw it.
Waltz has served as Rep. Mike Quigley's congressional district director and deputy chief of staff, and was also Quigley's chief of staff when he served on the Cook County board. She has also worked as a political consultant advising
She breaks my heart. She breaks my heart.
I would like to thank the great mayor of the city of Chicago, Mayor Emanuel, for help making this happen today.
My ideal. She's got a pretty face, but I'm not voting for her. I wouldn't vote for her if the fact that any association with Rahm Emanuel, you shouldn't even think about running.
She was a political consultant,
which means she was
Rahm Emanuel.
Right. So, which means that she was probably giving him a lot of the bad advice that he took when he was running this.
Well, I mean, I like to see the good in people when I can, and I know that you work in politics, you have to deal with people that might not be of the same caliber as you, and you can give them advice, but they don't always take it. But the question is, was he taking her advice, or was he taking advice of other consultants?
And is that the end of her credentials, working at Walgreens? Experience. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, it says San Francisco Mayor Ed Lee. Okay. Currently she works as regional director of state and local government relations for Walgreens. I think that experience is really important because I know how to build coalitions, Walt said. I know how to enact change, so I can't just come up with wonky policy ideas. I also know how to get things done to serve our community. Okay, that's generalizing.
All right, well, she's bringing me back with this next paragraph.
Hang on. One area Waltz's campaign is focused on is efforts to reduce homelessness and provide more mental health services. She wants to see the city increase housing options for the homeless and rework the homeless service intake system, which relies heavily on 311 service, according to your campaign.
She just won me back.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
On public safety, Waltz says she supports staffing local police districts that have lost officers in recent years. She also supports funding violence intervention and social services programs, saying we can't just pull money away from the police department and start investing in violence protection. Why not?
Well, she goes on to say they happen at the same time, which is fair.
Yeah, okay.
There's balance there. So, like I said, she's drawing me back. $92,000 in cash. Where did she raise that?
She is the biggest campaign chest in the race with over $92,000 in cash on hand for the quarter ending. Well, for one, she works for Walgreens, and for two, she used to work for Rahm.
No, that's okay.
So, she's got machine cash, unfortunately.
We will be watching her career quite carefully, or her candidacy quite carefully.
Yeah, but still, I mean, you could date her. Kathy thinks she's a party girl.
Hey, well, I don't know that she goes for an older guy, but
I mean, we also don't know if she's single. So.
That's true too. I don't mess around with women who are involved or married.
Okay, so yeah, see, that includes some big contributions from local officials, including $12,000 from Quigley's campaign copy. Yeah, $12,000 from Quigley, of course. $5,000 from Senator Feigenholz. $5,000 from Tom Tunney, $5,000 from Friends of Bennett Lawson, who is unopposed in his race to replace Tunney.
Interesting. Kathy says she's very connected. but she's a favorite. Now, is she a favorite there, Kathy, because she's connected, or because of some of the progressive policies that she proposed, especially regarding the homeless issue, which I think is great? I mean, that if you're focused on mental health and helping the homeless, you've won me over. But some of the other candidates might also have that in their platform.
So
let's
let's
continue.
give them a fair shake, and let's see who else is running in the 46th ward.
All right.
Uptown native Angela Clay is working to build on the progress she made in the 2019 race. Okay, so she's run before. Okay. This time she has the backing of some major political groups and politicians. Okay. Clay, a local activist and fourth-generation Uptown resident, is undertaking her second run for 46th Ward seat. She came in fourth place in 2019 when Kappelman narrowly avoided a defeat on the way to a third term. Clay said she is working to build on the progress made in the last campaign that centered around grassroots coalition building and progressive causes. I don't think that our constituents and our neighbors have felt their voices adequately being heard, Clay said in an earlier interview.
It's across the whole city.
Especially not from the last election that we had 4 years ago. We really have an obligation to make sure they're heard. Clay has been active in political causes in the ward, including efforts to thwart a housing development on Weiss Hospital parking lot. Okay, Kathy might know who she is.
I covered that too, in person.
She was the youngest board president of a local affordable housing nonprofit, Voice of the People. Her policy platform includes an emphasis on building affordable housing, lifting the ban on rent control, and funding for homelessness initiatives. She also favors a shift in public safety strategy toward crime prevention, including the funding of the Violence Prevention Peace Book initiative. Clay supports redirecting of funds from ineffective police strategies toward programs like housing, education, jobs, and youth programming, according to her website.
I like the way this woman thinks.
Yeah, she's my favorite so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, confirmed. Kathy says she occupied with us. Okay. Clay has been endorsed by the Chicago Democratic Socialists of America. Okay, the Chicago DSA. I mean, we got a lot of older people in the Chicago DSA. You know, they kind of do their own thing, even if you don't like the National DSA. The progressive organization that made major strides in the last city council election. Okay, it's Teachers Union has endorsed Clay, contributing at least $15,000 to her campaign. Okay, she has been endorsed by Helen Schiller, the retired six-term alderperson who preceded Kappelman, as well as Alderman Matt Martin.
Schiller was a great alderwoman. I remember her. I mean, I lived in the Lakeview corridor. I don't know if she was my alderwoman at that time, but I know that she was presiding over a lot of Uptown. I remember she had, I mean, it was a shame when she stepped down, but I remember she had a good reputation there.
Okay, so Clay, I mean, Matt Martin, we just talked about him. He's the one who's trying to get ranked choice voting in Chicago. So we got some fairly decent endorsements here.
No, she as much as the other one is pretty. I think Angela's so far the top contender here.
Okay. All right. Next candidate, Marianne Lalonde. Scientist Marianne Lalonde came 26 votes shy of being 46th Ward alderperson in 2019. That's when she forced Kappelman to a runoff that saw a protracted ballot count that ended with the incumbent winning by a razor-thin margin. Now, Lalonde is working to build on that momentum in this year's open race by pitching residents on her plan for housing affordability and environmental protections, among other platforms. Okay. I don't think very much has changed in our neighborhood since the last election in terms of how things are run, Lalonde said. Definitely housing is becoming increasingly unaffordable. We really need to focus, as this whole city, on environmental protections. Okay, I'm down with that.
Yeah.
As an energy efficiency professional, Lalonde said she would be the first PhD scientist on city council.
That would be great.
Bring up the IQ of city council, huh?
Well, also introduce important scientific issues as they relate to pollution from a lot of these recycling companies that are polluting the air. the toxic stuff in the lead in the water that Kit has talked about in several segments. So it's interesting. I mean, this is an interesting element to bring to City Council that and she doesn't look bad either. Go on.
Yes, not that matters. Not that matters. Lalonde was a legislative fellow covering energy for Senator Sherrod Brown of Ohio, where she worked on laws to strengthen chemical safety. Lalonde has also been involved in a number of community efforts, including as a block club president, the associate board of Sarah Circle, and the Clarendon Park Advisory Committee. She was also involved in the fight against the Weiss Hospital parking lot development. Yeah, I guess we got a few of those in this race.
So we got Clay and Lalonde seem to be the strong contenders to reverse a lot of the damage that Krappelman's done in that ward.
Yeah, Kathy Powers says Marine Drive is being devastated by luxury housing development.
And who can afford to live in all that luxury housing development? That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, I still don't understand why they keep doing all those. I mean, there aren't that many rich people. There really aren't.
That can afford those kind of rents or condo prices. And it's not like there's any lack of that kind of luxury housing downtown or through Lincoln Park. Yeah, but here's the other thing too. All these development companies, Ed, and construction companies, look, they get paid whether the buildings are occupied or not, right? With the deals that they forge to put up these luxury housing complexes. And you know what? They probably take a nice loss on their taxes as well if they're unoccupied. So they can essentially sit there forever.
And then they just become giant monoliths to excess.
Yep.
As they go unused.
And Kathy confirms this. The units are mostly empty.
And they tell us, we don't have anywhere to put the homeless.
No, or the migrants or anybody.
Or the migrants.
Yeah.
Where can we put them? I know. Let's throw them in a school.
Yeah, or the warming houses in parks.
Yeah. Okay. Lalonde. Where did I leave off? Lalonde is in favor of reestablishing a city department on environments and building more flood resilient and other green infrastructure. Yeah, I wish my place were a little more flood resilient. Lalonde also is in favor of affordable family-sized development and finding dedicated funding streams for homelessness efforts. She's endorsed by Aldermans John Arena of the 45th, Amaya Pawar of the 47th, as well as science-focused political group 3.14 Action and the political group Run for Something. Okay. All right. Well, and she was the runner-up against Kappelman's last election.
Her record was examined and the voters really liked her. But Krappelman had too much political clout as an incumbent, is what it was.
Yeah. So she's probably the strongest candidate in this one so far.
Well positioned. Yeah.
I'm not saying she's my favorite, but I'm saying she's probably the strongest.
I think probably. Am I speaking out of turn here? You like Clay? I mean, I think Clay's.
I like Clay so far.
Yeah, but
just because I mean her issues align with my issues.
Yes, and that's what they should. But Lalonde is a worthwhile alternative if she already has the attention of the constituents in that ward, and she came so close to unseating Krappelman before.
Yeah, so it goes to say that maybe she'll be a front runner in this one. Okay, we already talked about your future ex-girlfriend.
I didn't say she was going to be my future ex-girlfriend. You said she was going to be my future.
Right, future ex-wife.
Can you set no more of those? Can you set that up? The future ex-girlfriend.
Okay, where are we? Patrick Nagel.
Okay.
After years as a federal official, pass. Okay.
Move on. No,
I'm just kidding. Let's read it. Patrick Nagel is working to take his public service career to the next level. Nagel is the chief administrative law judge for the Social Security Administration, overseeing a large court network that rules and benefit awards cases for the federal agency. Okay.
The next paragraph is a pass. Pass.
Yeah, he served as a vice president of the East Lakeview Neighbors Association. He has served in the role Social Security Administration since 2009.
No. Read the second. No, you passed the paragraph.
Oh, did I miss
Next
it?
paragraph, the second sentence in that after the Lakeview Neighbors Association. Locally, Nagel has served as vice president of the East Lakeview Neighbors Association and was a member of Kappelman Zoning and Development.
Okay.
Pass.
Thank
You're
you.
out of
Thank you,
here.
Mary. I was like, I completely zoned over that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He's a Kappelman stooge. So sorry, dude.
Out. Get him out of there.
Sorry. You've been in public service your whole life. You can stay in that public service. We don't need you as alderman. Okay. We go to Roshanda Williams. I hope I'm saying your name right.
Roshanda, yeah.
Roshanda. Palmer House bartender Roshanda Williams. Okay, she's got my vote now. Is looking to make the leap from organizing around union efforts and labor issues to advocating for neighbors as an elected official. An uptown resident, Williams has worked as a bartender at the Palmer House for 2 decades. She is the lead shop steward for the Palmer House's workforce that's represented by Unite Here Local 1. So she's a union. She's a union candidate. That's cool.
Union advocate.
Okay.
I like that.
All right. In her union role, Williams helped earn protections for hospitality workers during the pandemic. She was on the front lines of the 2018 hotel workers strike in Chicago and also helped get panic buttons installed for housekeeping employees and has testified before Congress on workplace sexual harassment. Okay. I've just been an advocate since I was young, Williams said. I decided I could further advocate for people on the city council. Williams said her priorities as 46th Ward alderperson include affordable housing, public safety, and improving schools. Williams' campaign is heavily funded by Unite Here's political arm. The union has pumped nearly $65,000 into her campaign. Despite the sizable contributions, Williams' campaign did not have any campaign expenditures in the quarter ending December 31st, records show.
All right, okay, so we're 2 months out from there. How is she?
TV ads, probably.
Actually, what I'm saying she has that says she hasn't had any expenditures. What I'm saying is in the past. So since
since December 31st, so
right,
like
so 2 months
been
now.
a month.
But okay, but I haven't heard of her up till now. It's like if you had all that money, when does she plan to start using the money to start campaigning?
Jerry, when I go back and watch episodes of Chicago Corner, you know what I see in the ad pre-rolls? I see ads for alder people.
Okay, I have
so
YouTube Premium.
I'm like,
so I don't looking.
You're not seeing ads.
No.
Okay, I mean maybe some of you can in the live chat can also confirm.
Interesting though, those are the ads that are affiliated with our channel.
Yeah.
So the algorithm's working.
Cool. Yeah, at least for that. You know.
That we don't get money for anyway.
Okay, so Kathy hasn't heard of her until the 4th. So, all right. Well, I mean, she's another candidate to keep an eye out for, and since they're going to be in a forum on Thursday, right? We can figure out if you're in the 46th ward and you're going to be voting for an alder person. Watch the forum, see if you got a favorite. All right. We got Michael Cortez, real estate agent. Michael Cortez made the ballot, but has not been active on the campaigns trail and has not participated in most candidate forums, neighborhood sources have said. Cortez raised $680 for his race via GoFundMe. Okay. He says his 4 priorities are safety, continued development. What? That's for attract more businesses and aid for the homeless. Oh, okay. That was a weird sentence. Oh, they put continued development in quotes. Maybe because we don't know exactly what he means by that. Okay. Cortez did not respond to requests for comment. He does not have a campaign website. Okay, dude. It's cool that you got on the ballot, but it's time to start actually campaigning if you're going to campaign. So,
really quick, fast word to the live chat here. Kathy, I just got your text message. I didn't see that you texted me something on the 31st that I'm just seeing now. So I will be in touch with you regarding what you want to pass along for the show. So I just want to let you know I saw the text message.
okay. Kathy says Angela is the one. Yeah, she's my favorite too. So, but like I said, there might be 2 or 3 decent choices out of here.
Clay and Lalonde are the 2 top contenders, I think.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I think it's fantastic Lalonde came that close to unseating Krappelman last time, but
yeah,
maybe
so
Clay
these
being new
two
on the
right.
scene.
So where's my mouse? My mouse isn't showing up on here. Oh, okay. All right. The 2 on the left are the ones that are probably
column on the left.
Gonna get chosen here. One of those 2, I think. And where are we at here? Okay, so we talked about that. Let me talk. We can talk about this for a second. We know we were having we had talked about how Lori Lightfoot had addressed the problem of the tamale vendors getting robbed by telling them not to carry cash, right? Which is like,
how fucking tone deaf is this woman?
Yeah.
Look, it was a bullshit answer. She had no real solution, so she threw that out, which everyone's like, what? How can you even think that you're going to toss that out and anybody's going to believe that you are actually interested in solving the problem?
I'm like, okay, for preventative measures, if you're a street vendor, it's probably not a terrible idea to try to avoid a cash business if you are in an area that's likely to get robbed, but that's just victim blaming to say that that's the solution.
Pretty much.
So, I mean, they still really don't have much of a solution here, but this is kind of related because the city is now basically going out of their way to make it more difficult for street vendors.
Good afternoon. It's the first of many meetings and actually just wrapped up in the last couple of minutes inside Universidad Popular. Now, dozens of community members showed up and organizations, including BACP and the Street Vendors Association. Now, a big challenge for street vendors are the license requirements, saying it's a slow and difficult process. During the meeting, tamales, fruit, and corn vendors expressed their frustration and how the regulations are hurting them financially when they're just trying to make an honest living. One woman says she used to prepare street corn on site when customers would place her order, but city officials told her that wasn't good enough and had to pay a fine. Instead, she says she now has to individually pack the mayonnaise, butter, and cheese in bags in advance in a licensed kitchen to meet regulations. She says it just creates obstacles and more expenses for her small business. Now, the plan is to have another meeting here in the next couple of weeks. About 2 weeks is what they're estimating. They're still trying to figure out an exact date just to continue that discussion and, of course, answer some more questions and be able to come to an agreement on what can be done to help them be able to get those licenses that they're asking for.
So they're basically going out of their way by being incredibly over careful about food safety. Yeah. Now, food safety is important, okay? Whenever possible, you want to work in preparing your foods in a kitchen that is set up for food safe preparation. But you're a corn vendor, you're boiling corn, and then you're adding all the cheese and stuff for elotes or the I mean, individually wrap packets of that stuff. That's ridiculous.
Everybody sense we're going into Ed's forte with food and cuisine. His experience speaks volumes here.
I mean, you've got they're focusing on all the wrong stuff in this city.
What else is new, Ed?
And it's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, you want food safety. You want to make sure that the vendors are aware of what it is to serve things safely and to be a good member of society. When you're a vendor, they all have to get those certifications. They got to get the Serve Safe food vendor certifications, all this stuff. They know about food safety. That should be the requirement right there. And then, okay, you need a vendor's license, fine. But at that point, then it's just a matter of, okay, this is how I prepare my foods. This is how I'm maintaining food safety in my vendor space. Why are you making them do extra steps? If you're a health, if you're what do they call them? A food inspector or a health inspector, then sure, you check in on them once a month, see how they're doing it. If they need training on certain types of serving behavior or whatever, you provide that on the spot, and then you let them roll on. You don't provide all these barriers for people to make a living. And I'm going to get off my soapbox now. But
they're all good points.
It's just, why do they have to do this when they could just make things so much easier in the city? I can't imagine that New York has to deal with this crap with their hot dog vendors. Just saying.
I just came across a tweet that I wanted to share really quickly while you were expounding on that. In regards to the homeless conversation we had earlier. These are Hoovervilles back when Herbert Hoover was president. And the tweet asks, how is Hooverville any different from today?
Bidenvilles.
Well, I would say it looks like people who lived in Hoovervilles actually had a little bit more protection from the elements. It's actually worse than what we see with tents and underpasses now, I think. So yeah, just interesting. I kind of came across it as you were reading another story. I was looking at State of the Union stuff, but that was a very insightful little tweet I saw in regards to our homeless crisis.
Yeah. So long story short, leave the food vendors alone. Help them out. If you're gonna you want to provide safety, make sure that you have. Give the cops something to do that's actually worthwhile. Put them back on the beat. Make them live where they work, and let them have. Maybe there will be a food vendor alley or something. Tamale alley or some other kind of thing where there's a street where a lot of the vendors are, and have that be one of the details that a cop has on their scheduled beat in that area. It would just be a normal. Basically, it's glorified security, but it's better to have someone in the area who knows the area and is invested in providing safety in the area, preventing people from coming and stealing from the vendors.
Yeah.
That would be a better use of their time, in my opinion, rather than pulling people over for speeding or hassling, anyone, really. It's like we could do so many things better, and they just want to do everything the hard way. All right. Speaking of the hard way, 17,000 Chicagoans could get $500 cash payment under a city program. Now, in a previous episode of Chicago Corner, we had someone in the live chat named Lioness Den. And she said, why is Mayor Lori Lightfoot inviting undocumented people to apply for money and grants while the people who are native here are forced out because they cannot afford to live? Now, I thought that was fake news, the story she was talking, but it turns out this is actually a thing. Now, before people all get in a huff because she's giving undocumented residents an opportunity to get some financial assistance, understand this. when we had federal COVID relief fund checks, well, those of us who actually got them, undocumented workers don't get those. Okay. Now, these undocumented residents and stuff, they got jobs. They're contributing to the tax base here. Right, Jerry? They are
absolutely contributing to the tax base, Ed, because despite the fact they're probably in many cases being paid under the table and not being charged, taxes for their employment, they are paying their taxes every time they buy a bag of groceries. They're paying their taxes anywhere that they have to make a cash transaction. So they are actually contributing to the tax base and the economy, because we're literally taxed to death on everything else. It just doesn't just come out of our paychecks for Social Security and other benefits that we normally have to fight to get anyway, because the government wants to deny you those.
Yeah. So
I speak from experience as a disabled person, having to fight for my Social Security disability, despite the fact I'm hopping around on one leg for the past 30 years. But I digress. So they're paying taxes in other ways.
Yeah. So point being here that we have, I was saying it before. This is a yes and situation. It's not do we give money to undocumented residents or immigrant or migrants or it's not one or the other. It's both. We got to help the homeless. We got to help the citizens of the city. Everyone who's helped. A lot of people in the city are hurting right now financially, right? So it's fine with me if people who are considered undocumented residents are going to get some assistance too. So here it says, undocumented residents and domestic workers can now apply to get one-time $500 payment if they didn't get a COVID-19 stimulus. Well, if they're undocumented, they didn't. So here she is. Okay, that's a photo we're going to have to use again. Sure. It says the city is opening another round of direct cash payouts. Applications are open again for the Chicago Resiliency Fund 2.0, which gives a financial boost to residents who didn't get a COVID-19 stimulus, according to a city news release. Now, my issue with this is it should just go to anybody who needs help.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what these social safety net programs are for.
Add some other hurdle or prerequisite every time they come up with these programs so that they don't have to pay out. That's my criticism of every time they do this stuff.
Yeah.
Now it says another 17,000 Chicagoans can get one-time $500 payments through the program, according to the city. Well, are there that many Chicagoans who didn't get a COVID-19 stimulus check? I don't know. But
even now, Biden walked back with not paying the full amount he promised.
Yeah. Well, and then we could also talk about how the VP Kamala Harris had promised us $2,000 a month, which retroactive to the beginning of the lockdown would be more than $60,000 a person.
I just can't stand that woman, Ed. Yeah. I guess I shouldn't be surprised that they selected her for VP, because clearly people who have no moral compass and will say anything and stand for nothing, they always fail upward, because people know how malleable they are to helping them contribute to the corruption and just prolong the morass that has led to this dystopian nightmare we're in right now.
Yeah. Okay, so the article actually, I think the article is explaining where they got the 17,000 number from. It says now eligible are domestic workers who spent a year or more providing at-home services like housekeeping, childcare, cooking, and healthcare. The city will award 7,000 domestic workers. It says residents who didn't get stimulus checks because they are undocumented are particularly encouraged to apply, officials said. The city will award 10,000 undocumented residents. Are there that many in Chicago? I wonder. They must. Somebody must have a census count for that, is what I'm saying. It says, and funds are still available under an earlier round for Resiliency Fund 2.0, which is offering direct payments to 4,000 caretakers of adults. So if you are an adult that is claiming a dependent 17 years of age or older on your 2019 taxes, such as a college student or a disabled relative, if you claim them on your taxes, you can get money from the city still. So, get that money if you can, is what we always say. It's like if the city's giving away money and you can qualify, get the money.
Get it. Don't. Yeah. At least try.
I mean,
if you qualify, try.
Yeah. We're criticizing the fact that it's not more for more people.
Yeah.
That's
all the breaks all the big corporations are getting and kick tax breaks.
It's like all of us, like they find millions of dollars, to give to this new movie studio on the Southwest Side. I'm like, but I would like very much to pay off all my credit card bills right now. I'd be in a much better financial stable situation, but like many other people, I am paycheck to paycheck right now, and I'm not happy about it. But it's important that you understand that I know where you're all coming from when you say you're paycheck to paycheck. It's not easy. We'll find our way out to dig our ways out of this, but just keep doing what you're doing. And like I said, get that money if you can. So I think that's it. Did we want to, let's see, here we got the federal poverty guidelines are saying that 300%, if you make less than 300% of federal poverty level, you can qualify for these things if you qualify all the other hurdles that they put up there. So that's, that could be helpful. What's the website address? There was a link somewhere in here. I think, hold on. Let me see if I can find the link for that really quick. Stand by. Oh, is it Heartland Alliance doing it? Okay. They're doing it through the Heartland Alliance.
That's a good organization.
.org website, although some of their politics are questionable. But I'm going to post the link where you can find the
I'm curious, which politics do you find questionable? Because
it's some of the conservative stuff on the national level. I can't point to.
Okay. I didn't know that they were. I only know of them locally. I didn't know that they're national also. Okay.
Yeah, it's super.
I stand corrected. Thank you.
It's super. But look, I mean, if they're gonna support a thing like this, fine. It's good. I mean, not every organization is Dr. Evil, right?
Almost.
Even though
a lot of them are.
Yeah. And some of them have, millions of dollars. But yeah, so there's your website link. What is next? Oh, it's 9:30. We're probably going to wrap up this show here. What do I have right? Oh, yes. We brought up earlier about how we thought it was kind of a waste of those all those new buildings that are just going to stand vacant. And we've got this tweet from Alderman Ray Lopez from 2 days ago. He says, "This is how Chicago's mayor treats asylum seekers. It looks like an illegal conversion on steroids." Now, this is the Wadsworth Elementary School that they converted. And you can see, I don't know. Well, okay. So they got a computer lab, fine.
Looks like he went through there with his wheelbarrow rehabbing.
Yeah. Here they converted, looks like they converted a bathroom into some showers.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, like a community thing. I mean, okay, fine. Cots, they could do better than that. But I mean, I guess
those things are to sleep on.
Super uncomfortable.
Those are like military cots for field service when you have to get in and out of places really, really quickly.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I don't know what's wrapped up in if there's actual bed pads or anything in there. Those are just blankets.
Very light blankets. They look like airplane blankets that barely keep you warm.
Yeah, but I mean, and then this is just dumb to put a washing machine in the place where it is right there, right next to urinals.
Oh my God. I'm going to pee over here and then I'm going to do my laundry over here.
Somebody's putting a load into the washer while a guy has to pee.
Talk about your droplet spread.
Yeah, that's a whole other kind of dropless spread.
It certainly is.
So, and okay, that's all my stories for today.
Oh my goodness. Good show. Good show.
So we covered a lot. We meandered a little bit. But
we always do. That's
I
okay.
I think we covered a good number of things. No, we still don't know where the wings went. 11,000 cases of wings just gone. I'm still flabbergasted by that. How did they not know where they went? They didn't ask her where they went, or she's really not going to tell. Like, oh no, I ain't ratting out Harold's. I'm not saying that Harold's is where they went, but I'm just saying there are.
That is amazing. She's facing so much in fraud and theft charges. Why she wouldn't fess up?
Yeah. Or is it one of those situations where once again our investigative reporters at the local news channels choose not to ask the important questions? Where are the wings? Come on, man.
I know that you're going to be very diligent on that story to make sure that we get some kind of resolution.
Yes, Jeremy, we're really diligent on that story. I don't know if they heard you on that because there was a little bit of a delay.
There was a bit of a delay?
Because I was playing.
All right, so as all of that important coverage was shared, and I know that you're also going to stay on that wing story like Ahab with the white whale, I also just wanted to make sure that you will follow through on this for me. So,
how exactly are we following through on that, Jerry?
We're not. I'm just kidding around here.
You want me to get her number? We can try.
Like the kind of guy she would go out with.
I don't know.
No. Oh, those wings look good. No, I have a type, and aside from her politics, that is my type. But unfortunately, yeah.
At least
I think the politics will probably interfere.
Yeah.
So
I got these at the Jewels. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Jewels?
The Jewels.
I find the best buffalo wings are usually gotten when you're at a bar that's got like a small appetizer menu at the bar.
Yeah, I like I used to like to go to the places where they used to have the 10-cent wing specials. You'd have to order 10 of them at a time, but still, that was a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Because they want you to buy the booze, which is where they make all their money.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
With that said, ladies and gentlemen, we wrap up another delightful wing-filled adventure of Chicago Corner on Taco Tuesday.
With that being said,
on Taco Tuesday, my name is Deep Dish Pizza Enthusiast Edward Heller. This is my cohort in crime, Jerry Vasilatos, and we will see you on Friday. Well, I think we'll see you on Friday. Maybe you'll see us on Friday first.
You'll see us on Friday.
So
we'll be back.
So have a wonderful.
Back. Do you know? I found this hilarious. Really quickly. Speaking of, I'll be back. Hilarious series of videos on YouTube. Arnold Schwarzenegger. I shared one with you, Dylan. You
son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch. Welcome to the party, pal.
So anyway, Arnold is on YouTube in present day recreating some of his famous lines, like on video. No production values, but the guy still got it.
They're just, hey man, do the line.
He's having a fun time. He might be back as in another Conan movie. As old
Conan the Barbarian.
No,
Oh,
Conan
that
the
could
King.
be-
Aged
yeah.
Conan the King. He might be
Oh,
back.
I would
Although-
watch that.
Well, I would totally watch it. I also think that it's not too far a stretch, given what they're going to be doing with Indiana Jones 5 and the de-aging technology. They could certainly bring Arnold back for Conan the King and also de-age him for stuff that takes place in the past. That CG technology is just remarkable. But
Yeah,
that's a whole
remarkable and scary.
Yeah.
Because someday they'll find the way to de-age me.
All right, buddy. Good show tonight.
Yeah, that was good. I think we did okay. What is it? 9:40. That was an hour and 10 minutes. No, 2 hours and 10.
You drove the bus well and not off of a cliff, thankfully.
I know. I mostly didn't hit the curb. Mostly. All right. So we will see you on Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in, and please, if you liked any of what you saw this evening, please consider being a Patreon supporter. Support us at patreon.com/Chicago Corner. And
right now we have 4 Patreons, and we're bringing in a big $20 a month.
That's a lot of money.
I was going to say that's a lot of money,
but it's not.
$1 million.
I still enjoy those clips.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Where is that button over there? There it is. No, that's not it. Where is it? No, that's the clown car.
Farther down, farther down.
Oh, okay. Good night, everybody.
Get out. And don't come back until you've redeemed yourselves.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.